Life, Strength, and Health Podcast, episode 55.
I thought I was working with you to repair my gut, and really what I was doing was repairing my life in powerful ways.
Welcome, everyone. This is Life, Strength, and Health Podcast with Jamal and Kim, where each and every week we educate, empower, and inspire you to live healthier. So let's dive into the show. Hi, Kim and Jamal here, and welcome to another episode of Life, Strength, and Health Podcast. I'm Kim, and I'm joined with Jamal.
Greetings, everyone.
And
peace and blessings.
Yes, and like I said, this is episode number 56. This episode is going to be a little different than the episode that we normally release. Normally, we interview various health experts in the holistic health field, or sometimes Jamal and I will get on and discuss a topic. But today, we have something special for you. We will be interviewing a fellow health warrior, Chi-Chi. A health warrior is someone that works with us here at Life, Strength, and Health. That is our community. And we're going to be interviewing her, talking about her health journey, her successes. This is a powerful, powerful interview. And I'm so excited to share it with you guys today.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to doing these segments because I think that it's important for people to just listen to everyday people, not necessarily specialists, but just people that, you know, are on the same journey as they are. Right. You know, so I think this is going to be a first of many great shows. Mm-hmm. And I think we should try to maybe once a month, bring someone on their journey to just share their experiences.
Right. I think it's important to celebrate your successes, no matter how small they are. And you'll hear in this interview with Chi-Chi, you know, it wasn't easy. It wasn't like a walk in the park, but her mindset and her determination and, in a sense, keeping her eye on the prize of what she wanted to accomplish and her end goal, those were huge takeaways that, for me, it worked for me in my holistic health journey, because there's a saying, if you want to see some changes in your life, you're going to have to make some changes in your life. And, you know, Chi-Chi shares her journey and how certain things she had to let go, how difficult that was for her relationship with food. And I think this episode is going to be so powerful for so many people who may be thinking of starting their journey, who are on their journey, who's struggling on their journey. Her story is so empowering and so inspirational.
Yeah, and I think an important thing is to understand that she started exactly where many of you are, at the beginning. And, just in doing this interview, I mean, she just sounds so knowledgeable, right? So knowledgeable, and she just has grown so much. And it's possible for anyone to gain this knowledge of their body and begin to understand the language of your body. We always try to, share that with you, how your body is always trying to speak to you. It's just a matter of understanding that language. And that's something that we haven't been taught in our society, but beginning to understand and learn the language of your body is so empowering. So, I'm looking forward to sharing this with you. Yeah.
One last thing is, we always say that this journey, it starts in the mind, and Chi-Chi was ready for her journey. She does not live in New Jersey. She is on the West Coast. She was working with us virtually, and it doesn't matter, it's about aligning yourself with the right person, but she didn't have any excuses. You know what I mean? She plugged in, she did what she had to do. And, she's seeing great results in just 3 short months. Or, that's how long she's been working with this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
and also, let me just say this. The thing that I appreciate about her journey is she took advantage of all of the things that we had to offer. Because a lot of times we put things out there and they're not fully taken advantage of. So, Chi-Chi is a result of taking full advantage of the things that we have to offer. We have a private Facebook community that we call Health Warriors. So she's a health warrior. She's a part of that. She listens to our podcast on a regular basis, the energetic work that we gave her and the emotional things that we gave her to work on. She's actually working on those things. So she's really done a great job at pulling, it all together and doing all of it and just really organizing her life so that she could really maximize on, the transformation that she was trying to create for herself.
Yeah, definitely. We're definitely proud of her on the work that she's done and she's continuing to do. And these stories always motivate me. You never get tired of seeing someone's journey and their transformation. It just keeps us motivated. And hopefully this will inspire our listeners.
Right. Yeah. And it's a learning lesson for us too, because we learn what really worked well for her success, and we try to use that information to be able to really help others to tap into those same things so that they can get the same success.
Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. So without further ado, let's dive into the interview.
Yes.
Hi, Kim and Jamal here, and today we are joined by Chi Chi. Chi Chi, how are you?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing amazing.
Greetings, Chi Chi.
Good morning.
So happy to have you on the show. Welcome.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Thank you. This is exciting.
Yeah, I'm really excited to have you on the show. This is a part of a new segment that we're going to be doing with Life, Strength, and Health, and that's just bringing on real people that are going through programs and going on that health journey and just making changes in their life. Like it's cool to have guests on that are gurus and specialists and to talk about it, but to actually bring, people in that are practicing these principles and philosophies and can share how it's impacting their life is really important. So we want to try to start doing this more often. And the reason why we chose you is because we think that you're doing a phenomenal job.
Yes.
You are really taking a full holistic approach. A lot of times in our society, we fractionalize things. So we're not really taking a full, complete, holistic approach. So a lot of times, people will pick and choose. They'll do one thing. So they'll just follow nutrition or they'll just exercise. But you have seemed to kind of pull it all together with, the nutrition, physical movement, along with emotional releasing and just really pulling it all together on your journey and just seeing some really good results. So we just wanted to bring you on for a few and just kind of chat it up for a little while and just inspire others that are on their journey, because we really feel like what you have to share as far as your experience, it can really help a lot of people. So we just want to, bring you on, ask you a few questions and just kind of get your thoughts on how things are going so far. So, how long have, we know, but just for our listeners, how long have you been, working with us on your journey so far?
So I think it's been 3 months, and maybe, a little bit more, but definitely a few months. As a friend of mine said, you haven't eaten in 3 months. And I said, yeah, I'm still in that process. But, I think we started, our first conversation was right at the end of July, beginning of August.
Yeah.
And, we're still in it, actively kind of moving through the process. So August, September, October. So, more than 3 months.
Right. Yeah. That's an interesting perspective with your friend that says that you haven't eaten. You're probably feeding your body maybe more than you ever have, but the perspective is that you're not eating.
It's true. Yeah, it's a fascinating perspective that food gives us. Depending on what side you're on.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, so just to jump back a bit before we really kind of dive into what you're doing, can you tell us a little bit about your health journey before working with us? Like, what is your story?
Wow. I've been thinking a lot about that. I think in general, I've always considered myself healthy in the sense that I've never had major medical issues. But I was also very aware that my body was not performing the way that it should. You know, I know that the body is designed to repair itself, to manage toxins, and to really handle the things that we do. But I think there have been so many years of unknown or unaware abuse and neglect of the body. I was gluten-free. I'd been gluten-free for 4 more years. And that shift brought about awareness around the fact that something in my body was clearly not working fully well, or that I wasn't at my optimal health. And so my journey is probably like a lot of people where you're always trying something.
Right.
You know, you hear a story or you see a friend who looks like they went through some sort of physical or fitness transformation. You read an article, you know, one medical person tells you something. So I feel like my journey was a search and seizure. You know, try something. Well, that didn't seem to work. And then you go back to what you're doing, and then you try something else a few months later. And so I think I was always clear that there was something not quite right. There was something off. But I could never quite put my finger on it. I could never quite figure out what it was my body was wanting in order for me to really feel 100% healthy, even though there was nothing that I could point to medically that was wrong. There's that knowingness that, no, this isn't quite right.
And you raise a really good point that I want to address, and that's that, you know, you've always been relatively healthy. You haven't had any major problems, but you just knew that something was off. It just wasn't quite right. And a lot of times in our society, when people were in that position, they're comfortable with staying in that position, not necessarily wanting to optimize where they are, as long as the medical doctor are giving them clean bills of health, which only means that, you know, your whatever problems you have haven't progressed enough for them to treat you. People are comfortable with that and not wanting to really optimize. And I think that is great that you were listening to your body and knowing the importance of having it work the way that it needed to.
Yeah, and that was, I think, kind of the behind the scenes or the waiting fear was you don't have anything medically diagnosed now. And, you know, or it seems okay now, but I was clear that, you know, there's going to be a 5, 10, 15 years from now. And with everything going on just in the world is shifting. It just seemed like the right time to really address it, and like you say, to move out of that comfort zone.
Right.
Because I didn't want to be comfortable with mediocrity, basically, or even with temporary waiting for the shoe to drop. So I think that was the impetus to really move it forward.
Right. Yeah. So is that what kind of led you to reach out and decide to get some assistance?
Well, I think that was my personal reason, and that's what prepared me to take this step. But I think what really made it clear that I was going to come specifically to Life Strength and Health were the stories that I was hearing from other people that you've worked with. I heard so many just, you know, amazing, wonderful comments, and they were all around, you know, a lot of them started with, you just have to do it. Seriously? No, seriously, you have to go and work with them. You know, and then when I dig for details, everyone talked about the personalized program that, you know, because each person I spoke to was doing something different, but all for the purpose of, optimizing their health. And they were specifically working around digestive, stomach, that whole gut area. And that's where I knew I was needing to focus. So as I was hearing these stories, and the idea of a personalized program really struck me, because, like I said, I had been trying what everybody else was doing.
Yes.
And I thought, but what usually works for me is when someone knows me. I'm also a dancer, so I understand that everybody is different.
Right.
Literally everybody's body is different and works differently and responds differently. So the idea of someone being able to work with me specifically, to be able to focus on what I'm bringing and my energetic, and then propose something that should then specifically benefit me, that was really the key to moving forward.
Right.
And you definitely did that.
Yeah, and I remember when we first spoke, just in regards of working together, just the attitude that you were coming in with. Like, I could tell that you were really ready. It wasn't, we didn't have to, hold your hand with it. You were already trying to make some changes in your life. You just needed some fine tuning. So, I could already see that, you were ready to really kind of dig in and figure out what was going on. So what program did you start out with?
So we were, I think we talked about it, we call it gut repair, which is really fascinating, because I believe you said that 80% of our immune system is in our gut.
Yes.
That was it. That blew my mind. Because the immune system, wow. That's everything.
Right.
That's your colds, your allergies, the area that you take in, like, it's so many pieces. And so our program was gut repair, and specifically the steps were cleanse first, and then repair, and then rebuild.
Right.
I think what was really profound in the way that you presented the program was, you said, what you're doing now, the ways in which you're eating, your diet, your nutrition, those habits, you said they're actually really good. Unfortunately, the foundation that you're building them on top of is in disrepair. It's actually, you said it was pretty much, shot.
Mm-hmm.
So, here I was trying to build this really beautiful house, on sand, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So that was, it was a shock. And at the same time, not, I guess I knew after so many decades of not being aware, it made sense.
Mm-hmm. So
the program was the first completely cleanse the body of the toxins, of so much, built up toxins, and then start to repair, and then slowly start to rebuild, and then eventually reach the maintenance level.
Right. Which cleanse did you start with?
The most grueling one. I remember the day you actually prefaced it. You said, "Okay, are you ready?" I said, "I don't know. What am I ready for?" And so, because your body actually wants to get off of food completely. And I remember thinking, is he really talking about my body? Okay, what does that mean? And you said 21-day liquid fast. And I think it just went silent. We just sat in silence for a moment. While I contemplated that. 21-day liquid fast is the first part. That was my cleanse, and that was a doozy.
Right. Yeah. And I know you haven't done any extensive fast. How were you feeling about that? Were you excited? Were you nervous? Were you apprehensive?
It was a mixture. part of, I wasn't scared because I knew I was ready. One of the first things you asked me when we started the journey was on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you? And I said 10, and that was real for me. Mm-hmm. So I was ready for something different. And so for me, the 21 day, it was a challenge. It was a personal challenge. And I wasn't necessarily afraid of the challenge. I was more afraid of failing it. I didn't think I could do it. But I was excited to try because I knew it meant doing something different.
Right.
So for me, I knew I wanted something different, and I knew that no one had ever brought up a 21-day liquid fast. Like, in all of the searching and the hearing of people's attempts, I'd heard a lot of people doing a lot of things, but never liquid for 21 days. Mm-hmm. So my first thought was, whoa, that's deep. And so I was excited to find out more, but I really, the back of my mind, I was really afraid. I was like, I don't know if I can pull that off.
Right, yeah. And I think that I'm glad that we're talking about this because, that 21 days is so much more than just not eating. We call it a journey. And, to speak to someone that has gone through that is great because it really does scare a lot of people.
Yeah.
I've sat in front of people and mentioned this, this 21 days and literally never saw them again.
Right. like, let me think about that.
Yeah. I'll give it some thought.
Ghost.
I'll let you know in a few days and they're done.
Crickets and ghosts. Yes.
and
totally get that.
and the thought of just not eating for 2 days is tremendous for people because we have such an attachment to food, and really that journey is also in breaking those attachments. So it's so much more. So it's a lot of times it's not even the thought of fasting. It's just like, I won't be able to have my favorite dishes.
Right.
Or I can't medicate myself with this, with this food. I'm vulnerable now. So it's a very interesting thing. Like how was your journey? How was it to go 21 days without solid food?
Yeah. Jamal, I have to say, at first I kept going, why does he keep saying journey? Just trying to put some fancy word in there to say you can't eat. Like this journey business. We're not going nowhere. Except the fact that I can't eat. And it was not until we broke past, that first week that I understood why you kept using the word journey. Because I don't think I ever truly understood or was never truly aware of the relationship that I had with food. And you said many, but one of the most profound things you said to me is, you really aren't supposed to have that kind of a relationship with food. And it was like, oh, right. And that really, that was one of the first awakenings is, and when I say relationship, we're talking about like an actual engagement relationship,
Right.
And as I've talked to people during this journey, I realize that, if not, 80-90% of us probably have a relationship with food.
Right.
Where we literally, it's a medication, it soothes, it's who we go to, it's what we go to for comfort, it's what we go to release anger. It is, it's an unhealthy relationship. It's like being in an abusive relationship. And it was fascinating to wake up to that. And I think so for me, the journey really was, it was more emotional, even though obviously the food was the catalyst. The actual journey was one of facing that mirror.
Yeah.
and doing it from a place of compassion for self. And I think that's the biggest part of the journey was I had to face my truth and at the same time continue to love myself through it. But the beautiful part is that while I was facing the truth, the changes that were happening were allowing me to find that love of self.
Right.
Because my body was beginning to love itself again. And so I was beginning to feel, a much different relationship with my body once I was willing to kind of break up my relationship with that unhealthy relationship with food.
Right. And like throughout that process, did you ever have any doubts about being able to make it?
Oh my God, I tell people, and I mean it, that is the hardest thing I've ever done.
Yes.
It's the hardest thing I've ever, and I've never given birth. So I have to believe that that's probably harder. I can't say for certain, but from what I can tell, childbirth seems like, I'm going to give props to all the mothers. But 21 days of liquid, and I've never been a fan of liquid, to be honest. Not a big fan of drinking. I don't drink sodas and all. It's like, because it makes you full. I'm like, there's no room for the food.
Right.
So that's the hardest thing I've ever done. And there were so many days where I thought, there's no way. What day is this? No. I don't know. I don't know if we're going to get. I don't know if we're going to do this. And I would tell people, and their reaction, they're like, 21 days.
Like, where's the support, right?
Right. They're like, I did 5 once. I did 7. Someone's like 9. I'm like, 21. 21. And other people's reaction was like, man, that's brutal. I'm thinking, it is, right? It's normal.
So
it was definitely challenging.
Yeah. So what was it that kept you going?
You know what? It was the promise of a new day. It really was. It was the realization. I kept telling myself, 21 days out of, your entire life. And hey, you can go back to exactly what you were doing before. So I kept reminding myself, that bag of chips that you're thinking about, or, that particular favorite meal that you're thinking about. You've got the rest of your life, and you could go back to having that every single day.
Yeah.
But you have this one opportunity to just try something different, and that could result in something magnanimous. So that's what I kept reminding myself is you can always go, the thing that you're craving, it's yours to have.
Right.
You can, once this is over, but this you've never tried before. So it was kind of you've already seen what a bag of chips looks like
right.
and what it does.
Yes.
You've never seen what 21 days without food looks like. So why not try it? Because that would be something new.
Right. And one thing that I do want to point out is that Chi-Chi lives on the West Coast. She's in California, and we're on the East Coast. We're in New Jersey. So we, when we initially met, it was in person, but all of our meetings after that were virtual. We were, we were meeting online. We were doing Google Hangouts. So we were consulting once a week and meeting that way. And I'll tell you this, every single week when we jumped on, it was like I was seeing a new person every single week. More layers were just being revealed, and everything was changing. I saw a difference in your energy, your mindset. I saw physical differences every single week that you popped on. It looked like you reversed the aging process about 5 years every week.
Wow.
It was incredible to see your journey. After that first phase, what type of how was your experience overall? What type of results did you get?
Well, thank you. First of all, That's really great to hear, and it felt really good. After the first 21 days, so it was interesting. You kept telling me that I would get into a zone where I would no longer even crave food. Mm-hmm. And that actually didn't happen in those first 21 days. I thought, well, I must be defective because I never got into the zone because I still want a bag of potato chips. But I have to say, like, physically, I felt really good. Mm-hmm. And I could see shifts in my body. It wasn't, what it wasn't, I should add, as part of the 21 days, you actually had me get a colonic once a week. Yes. And that was powerful to see what was inside of me. Mm-hmm. That blew my mind. But after those 21 days with 4 colonics, I would say my clothes were fitting me differently. Mm-hmm. People were noticing. Folks are going, wow, your clothes are a little baggy now, or, oh, you're losing some weight. And so there was definitely a change. People said, oh, your face looks slimmer. So I was getting a lot of those comments that, you typically get if you've gone on a diet. And I don't know pound-wise, but, it's possible 10 or 15 pounds I had dropped because, mm-hmm. You're getting those kind of, oh, you look like you're losing weight.
Yes.
That kind of response.
Mm-hmm.
So I was, I could see results. I definitely saw something shifted in the 21 days. And then we moved into a 10-day transition where we were now adding in solid foods.
Yes.
And it was in that 10-day transition, that's when I finally got into the zone. Once we started adding back food, then I was like, I just want it now.
Right? Better late than never.
Right, that's what I said. I'm like, is this some kind of a joke? Now I get to eat. And I'm like, meh. And what was interesting, but that's when the real results started to happen for me, once we started to add back food. And it was just one meal a day, one cooked meal a mm-hmm. day. And then salads for dinner and a smoothie for breakfast. And that was my life for 30 days. That 30 days is when I think the majority of the transition physically started to show. Mm-hmm. And then just the emotional piece just continued to grow. I think the first 21 days with liquid, it was so much more emotional than it was physical for me. Mm-hmm. People could see the physical results, but what I was experiencing was that emotional breakthrough, kind of that awareness of I'm in an unhealthy relationship. It's time to get out of it.
Right.
And so that first 21 days really was the emotional breakthrough, which was so much deeper and so much harder. The next 30 days, that was almost fun.
Yes.
Because I felt so empowered. Mm-hmm. I felt free from, this really unhealthy relationship, and then, just empowered in this new world, this new day opportunity, right. And just a real chance to discover the power of food.
Yes.
With me sitting in the driver's seat.
And you were actually at an advantage because the fact that you did go on an all liquid diet first, mm-hmm. so the changes weren't drastic for you because you already were coming from a situation where you weren't eating. So now to add back this kind of new journey from not eating anything, you're more inviting of the things that are coming your way as opposed to times when people are eating, and now they have to just make these dietary changes is a lot harder.
She was able to hit the reset button.
Right. Yeah. So it was, so that worked well, for you. Definitely. And, so with the new journey, and I know we're constantly, building on that, and that's what we're working on right now, really kind of building, your system up overall. Like how is this, particular phase, going for you now?
This is fascinating. So this is what I call part 3,
yes.
Where we are now introducing in the types of foods that I like to think of as the kinds you don't really need, but you sometimes want.
Yes.
The list of foods that make, hanging out with friends a little bit fun, a little bit more fun. And it does add a balance, a different balance. So that's been interesting because, again, my relationship with food is different. So the ways in which I truly, truly loved these things is different. And so now food is a tool. It's a resource. It provides certain elements, but it's not a safe haven. So this period right now is more of an awakening to how this journey has literally put me on a new path. It's a lifestyle change.
Yes.
Right? Like I can't go back now. So at this point, I don't know pound wise, but when I started this journey with you, I was wearing a 16, 18 in clothes, and now I'm at a 10.
Wow.
I put on a pair of size 10 pants and almost cried because I've never been a size 10 in my entire life. Like even as a child, I don't think because I've been overweight my entire life, like as a child. So I don't even recall as a child ever being in a size 10. So this has been just a remarkable journey for me. And again, I don't think it's over. I've started now adding back exercise. So now that I'm, taking more calories, I'm now able to do yoga, and I'm dancing a lot more. And so I'm seeing my body still just continue to reshape itself.
Yes.
And so this part of the journey is really now just showing me how to really engage with food in a healthy way.
Right.
It's also strange. It's having a hard time with restaurant food now. Not to sound like some sort of an extremist or whatever, but some of the places where I have tried to eat, I've literally walked away and felt sick, almost like I had been poisoned. The food just tastes strange. There's something very, very different. And someone mentioned to me, they said, you're going to discover that restaurant food, it tastes really salty. And it's almost like, there's a cover. It's like there's a layer of something they put on it, and I don't know if that's to keep you addicted to it. But I'm so aware of it now. I'm so hyper aware that I really can't now. The foods that I thought I would miss and that I couldn't wait to get back to, I went and tried them, and it's like, oh, never mind. I'd much rather just cook vegetables in my kitchen. So that's really where I am now is just realizing that all of the things that food was giving me before, that's actually my work to do as a person. Right? I can get that emotionally, personally through other aspects of my life, so I'm no longer looking to food to fulfill those. I guess I'm just at that new phase now.
Yeah, you brought up something very important with just eating out and other foods and processed foods. When you alkalize your body and you wake your brain up and you wake your taste buds up, you taste so much more. Your range of taste improves. Your smell, your sense of smell improves. Your senses just enhance. So you have a different type of experience when you eat, which is why a lot of times when people eat junk foods, they don't like the natural stuff. They don't like vegetables. They don't like water and things like that because it's bland. And it's, you know, things are over seasoned with sugar, with certain fats and salts. So now to pull yourself away, and you've enhanced your taste. Now when you taste these things, you're actually tasting them for what they really are. And it's like sensory overload. It's too much.
Yes, that's exactly how it feels, and it's really blowing my mind. You know, we haven't reintroduced sugar or corn, and I'm actually a little concerned. You know, I wonder. I'm going, oh my God, I can't imagine what a piece of chocolate would taste like. The level of sweet it almost frightens me to think about how my body would react to it. Because the things that I thought were, you know, perfectly okay, now I'm realizing, wow, that's got some things in there that probably should not be a daily part of my life.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm really at a place now where I am just appreciating the power of raw food and understanding, you know, where food source, and just understanding what food is and what the different foods do. And now I feel in control. You know, I'm able to decide and to know, okay, I know if I eat this, my body will react this way. So I get to decide, you know, if that's the direction I want to go in, and now I'm aware of what the consequences will be. And I now feel like I do have a safe haven in food because I know what works for me. I know, you know, okay, if I'm eating a primarily vegetarian lifestyle throughout the day, and I'm really sticking to the one cooked meal and a salad for dinner, I feel amazing. And my body is able to do all of the things that I want to do without pain, without fatigue. You know, that's so much more rewarding than a bag of chips to me.
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, so I can't go back. So that, you know, I'm just at a level of being so fully empowered, and my thoughts are so much clearer.
Yes.
You know, actually during this journey, I left my full-time job and decided to become a full-time realtor, which was something that I wanted to do for years.
Wow.
Nice.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So, yeah, just my level of clarity and my thoughts and my ability to really process my thoughts has been, I think, probably the best reward, because I'm now clear on which thoughts are mine and what feelings I'm having, and they're not being, I'm not eating my feelings literally. And, you know, my body, like the signals from my brain are making it to the parts of the body where they need to go. They're not being blocked by all of these toxins. So I'm able to really sit with a thought or an issue that I may be dealing with and really process it and quickly, you know, and without a lot of doubt or hesitation, because I'm not actually medicating myself with food on an hourly basis. So I've, you know, been able to really see shifts in my life, just in other aspects of my life. And I think that's the biggest reward, is realizing that when you tackle this demon in this one area of your life, it actually affects all the others. You know, you discover that it was just symptomatic of the blockages in other areas of your life.
Right. People are so used to feeling a certain way that they accept it as normal.
Right.
And one of the things that you pointed out was just the cognitive changes, you know, and that's people don't think about that. You know, they think that, you know, the way that their thoughts are and just, you know, them maybe, let's say, having forgetfulness. I get so many people that experience forgetfulness and brain fog, and they think that it's because they're getting older. I'm getting old now. I guess this comes with old age, not realizing that it could just be some blockages from their lifestyle, or their brain went to sleep because you weren't feeding it correctly. So that cognitive improvement is huge. When you open your mind and your consciousness up, you can make so many different shifts and changes in your life. So so just this shift that you're experiencing is incredible. And one thing that I'm hearing, like, you've shared so many powerful and great takeaways. Mm-hmm. The major thing that I'm hearing right now, and that I'm really happy about, I think that when I listen to everything, Kim and myself, I really feel like we did a good job as far as education. Like, you sound like a very educated person when it comes to holistic health and your body and your relationship to your environment and your food and things like that. And that's everything. Like, being educated and having that power to know your body and know your anatomy and how it works. It really sounds like it's starting to dial in and become really in tune with who you are, and just understanding what will make it optimum and what will take away from that. And when it comes to health, that's the most important piece of the puzzle, like really being educated on your body and not just educated on the trends that are happening.
That's exactly right. And that's the empowering piece, is having the information, now understanding, you told me my body type, and people talk about this, and I know there are books and I'd heard it, but understanding your body type, and my body type required a high fat, high protein, low sugar diet, but then really understanding what that meant, and being able to see where the different foods fall in, why is it, some people, they have to eat meat or need some form of meat or that type of protein, whereas other body types don't. So having that information for my body really is what makes it so much easier now to move through, because I'm not just guessing, or I'm not living based off other people's body types, because it's like, well, it worked for them, so I'm following their plan, but that worked for them because of their particular body type.
Right.
Yeah. And let me ask you this question as we come to the end of our show. What advice would you give to a person just starting out on their journey?
Yeah, I think the biggest piece of advice I could give is to not fear the discomfort, because it's definitely not easy. I won't even lie and say that, looking back, it was really easy. No, it wasn't. And it still isn't. Yes. In the sense of, there is still, there's still the temptation, there's still the history, there's still some of that muscle memory around food. And there's still, there's a historic relationship there long term. So I think being prepared to be uncomfortable, and really setting your mind to that and being okay with it, and knowing, okay, this is going to not feel good on days. This might even hurt. But also knowing that that's temporary. Yes. So the advice is just to prepare yourself. It's like getting ready for anything new. It's going to be uncomfortable for a while, but what's on the other side is so worth it. And it's so much more than whatever you're holding on, than the crutch that you're holding on to. Like, what you think that crutch is giving you is really taking away. Because what you discover on the other side of that discomfort is amazing, amazing reward.
Right. And what advice would you give to a person that is having challenges staying on track with their program and journey?
I think this is so all internal work. And so the best advice is to really ask yourself, the question you asked me, how serious am I? How much do I really want to see a shift in my life? And I think that's the key, is to disconnect it from the physical body. I tell people, I said, the body that I have now was the bonus. But the work was really about changing me personally, giving me back the power of my mind, giving me back the power of choice, the empowering freedom of information and knowledge about how food is a fuel or not.
Yeah.
So I think the advice I would give is to look at the rest of your life and see what areas of your life aren't working. Because it's highly likely that whatever the blockage is that you're having in staying with the program is the same blockage that's keeping you from whatever that thing is in your life that you really want, either something you're trying to get to or something you're trying to fix. And so this program or these programs that you will offer is an opportunity. It's a way, it's almost like a therapy. It's a way to get to whatever it is you're trying to get to, a way to fix whatever you're trying to fix. You're just doing it through the gut, which is a strange, it seems like a strange way to go.
Yeah.
But what I would say is it's powerful because you get so many more benefits. Right? So if you look at it less as a diet or as a change in the way you eat and really look at it, this is a lifestyle impacting opportunity, and this is a chance for me to move through the stuff I'm working through, just coming at it from a different direction.
Right.
Because I think I discovered more than anything I thought I was working with you to repair my gut, and really what I was doing was repairing my life in powerful ways.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yes. And it's this interconnectedness that everything has, and you really can't isolate it. When you're working on your nutrition aspects, your physical aspects, that's all a part of your entire life, and everything flows through. So you improve your health, you're going to improve all aspects of your life. You improve your mindset. You change your emotional state. You're affecting all aspects of your life. It's not just about what you see in the mirror. It's about the transformation in your life. And when people begin to really measure it on to that degree, that's when you have the biggest shifts. And it's been a pleasure working with you. We really appreciate your drive and your want to actually change and grow. Because this has been a very smooth transition from one phase to the next. Like when you were done with phase 1, you went right into phase 2, right into phase 3. Like you were just on it. And that was amazing, because a lot of times you'd be surprised, people will, do phase 1 and then it's like, I'm going to start phase 2 next month. I'm going to take a few weeks off. And then I'm going to go into phase 2. And then after phase 2, I'm going to get started in 2 weeks, but everyone can witness the power when you're consistent and you really look at this as a lifestyle and a journey, and you're just along your way. You don't take breaks. You don't take breaks in anything that you do that you want to be amazing at. You don't take breaks. You just make it happen and you go. And so we appreciate you, definitely. as a client to really get it, and to really keep pushing forward. And we appreciate having you on the show. Thank you for being on our show. And we know that this show will inspire a lot of other people that are beginning their journey, thinking about going on their journey, or already on their journey.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate the opportunity to share my story, and I certainly hope it inspires others. But more than anything, I want to say how much I appreciate you two for the work that you do and the service that you are providing, because it truly is life-changing. It's the best therapy you'll ever get, and it looks different from what you might expect. But it's changed my life. That's the most I can say. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. So that is the conclusion of our interview with Chi Chi. Hopefully you enjoyed the interview, but most importantly, you received value from it. And for access to the show notes pages and where you can also download this episode, just go to lifestrengthandhealth.com/55 to access the show notes pages. And before we go, let's take a minute to hear from our sponsors. Let's face it, we are living in a world set up for us not to be healthy. And with the overabundance of health information available, it's so easy to get overwhelmed and confused on which path to take, which leads to inaction and not making health a top priority. Well, that can all change. We are Life Strength and Health, the #1 center in New Jersey for helping you to detoxify and address your digestive system challenges. We provide support, accountability, guidance, education. We will be with you every step of the way to help simplify this process and help you to reach your health goals. So if you're ready to take action, if you're ready to make your health a top priority, then visit us at lifestrengthandhealth.com or give us a call at 1-800-503-7127 and book your consultation today. Don't live in the New Jersey area? Don't sweat it. We can work with you virtually. So visit us at lifestrengthandhealth.com or give us a call at 1-800-503-7127 and book your consultation or virtual consultation today. We want to say thank you for listening to the show and for access to the show notes pages, more podcast episodes, blog content, as well as more information about our center, Life Strength and Health, then just visit us at lifestrengthandhealth.com. Until next time, live healthier.